Senator Sheldon, Whitehouse, Democrat of Rhode Island, has delivered 279 speeches calling attention to the climate crisis, and he joins me now. Senator, first, your reaction to the announcement of the targets today and this administration's push on this.
I think it's great. This was at the leading edge of the plausible window of options. And, 50% plus by 2030 is a real serious commitment.
So I guess the question is, how do we get from here to there? And I think, back when I was covering the Obama administration, which had pretty ambitious climate goals coming in, it was the cap and trade bill, it was wax and market, it passed out of the House, Republicans in the Senate killed it. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a real strategic shift now in how you and your Democratic colleagues think about the policy mechanisms. Talk me through how you think about it in the absence of a big, climate bill that Republicans won't vote for.
Well, I think, for starters, I think there will be a big climate bill. I think that the Build Back Better jobs bill will be that climate bill, and we're going to work very hard to make sure that it is that climate bill. And behind that comes Glasgow and the World Conference to update the Paris Agreement, and perhaps another round of legislation to fill in for that. And in the Senate right now, there are bills moving forward on industrial emissions, on agricultural emissions, on oceans-related issues, and a lot of these are bipartisan. So you're right, something has shifted, and the momentum is gathering and growing. And I think we just have to lean in as hard as we can and make sure we're doing everything we can along the way. And I think for the first time, after many, many years of despair and frustration about this, I'm starting to feel that we're going to get there.
When you say, I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, because one thing I'm painfully aware of is that, the only way for Republicans in some ways to be on the right side of some of these policy issues is for no one to notice. So I don't want to throw a monkey wrench in that plan. But when you say there's stuff on industrial emissions or agricultural emissions that is bipartisan, that's kind of news to me. Talk me through what does that look like? What's that collaborative process look like?
Well, let's start with the ag bill, which we went to the press conference day before yesterday, I want to say. It has 20 Republican co-sponsors, and it will instruct the Department of Agriculture to build a verifiable carbon offset so that farmers can say, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, will I get carbon credit for this? And the Department of Agriculture can say yes, and send the money for using good farming and foresting and ranching practices. And that could explode once that is established throughout the industry. We have the carbon capture industry growing thanks to the so-called 45Q tax credit. If you can capture the damn stuff out of the atmosphere, then we can really accelerate our ability to meet these targets. And there's the industrial technologies bill, which provides support for R&D for different industries to take advantage of things that the utilities, for instance, are doing with clean air standards, and bring those into manufacturing, bring them into steel making, bring them into cement making, and so forth. And all of those bits are bipartisan at this point.
That is, so this is a sort of proof of concept of the kind of thesis, right? That, those are all in what we generally call kind of must-pass bills, right? You got to pass the ag bill, and the ag bill's going to pass. So the question is, what can you do in the ag bill on emissions? And it seems to me like that's the direction things have gone increasingly in the wake of the 2009 situation.
Yeah, I think the rule has to be every bill has to be a climate bill, and there has to be a big climate bill.
Right.
And if we follow that rule, I think we'll get there.
Do you think that on the big climate bill part of it, is that would the politics of that look the same that we have anticipated and different from, say, the ag bill or other stuff, right? Because it does seem to me like it's one of these things where if you raise the salience of it, even though it's very popular, 65% popularity, it's just one of these issues where Republicans, as soon as you raise the salience, they're like, I want to stick it to the libs and you can't tell me not to, burn coal, yada, yada, yada.
Well, let me say two things about that. The first is that we've got a good start on a big bill right now with a massive investment in electronic vehicles and electronic vehicle infrastructure to turn the transportation sector around. And the clean electricity standard that is in the Biden plan is very strong. And if we could bake into that also a penalty on carbon emissions that can fund even more good work, then we're talking about, I think, something really, really significant. So that's point one. Point two is that the Republicans are a little bit less comfortable where they are now than where they used to be, because a lot of the apparatus of climate denial and obstruction is blowing up. So the American Petroleum Institute is getting some real pushback. The Chamber of Commerce, which was one of the two worst climate obstructors in America, is in a state of internal turmoil as it turns toward climate action. Today, the National Association of Manufacturers, the other worst climate obstructor in America, came out applauding Joe Biden's standard and saying the manufacturing is going to be what gets this done. So all of that is new, and the apparatus of obstruction and denial is beginning to collapse. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the Koch brothers, Marathon Petroleum, and a couple of crazy dead enders. And at that point, I don't think there's much for the Republicans to rally around any longer.
It's funny. Sometimes you conceive of a segment, and as you're doing it, you're like, am I talking myself into something? And we sort of went through it, but then I talked to you, and now I'm convinced of my own thesis, which is always a nice feeling that there really is a moment here. There really is opportunity. Senator Sheldon, Whitehouse, always great to talk to you on this
in the Democratic Senate is greater than ever. Remember that the Republicans didn't want cap and trade, but the White House and the Senate leadership is what took it down and didn't even get it a vote in the Senate. So, we have our own problems from the past. Those are over. There is a really solid commitment from Joe Manchin right across the board to solving this.
All right, Senator Sheldon, Whitehouse, a real leader on this. Thank you so much for your time.